emissions list. Forget about residues. Forget about overheating. Forget about corrosion. Our fuel, Optimum, keeps your car's engine as clean as ever for optimal performance. Optimum of Ola Energy, ultimate protection.
The aerial challenge is moving across Kenya, improving Kenyans' lives by saving them money, offering brilliant stain removal in one wash.
Wino ni mojawapo wa madoa sugu ambayo hayatoki kwa nguo, sio?
Let us see which detergent removes stubborn stains.
Na tofauti kwa hizi vitambaa zangu mbili. Kitambaa gani imeokoa pesa kina mama? Napenda hilo kwa sababu mwosho wake ni mmoja tu. Hata ndio hii nimenunua mara yangu ya kwanza.
Watch out for the aerial challenge coming to a town near you.
Kenya inarekodi kiwango cha chini cha ulemavu ikilinganishwa na 15% ya ulimwengu. Sensa ya 2019 ilionyesha 2.5% ya wanawake ni walemavu. Ukosefu wa data huzidisha ubaguzi kwa wanawake walemavu katika sera na programu. Shirika la Disability Trust imetengeneza jukwaa la USSD kukusanya data sahihi ya wanawake walemavu. Kujiandikisha, piga *548# kwenye simu ya rununu.
Wanawake walemavu.
Hesabika.
Nivea Men Deep Antiperspirant with the power of black carbon formula. 48-hour protection from sweat and bacteria. For a deep, clean feeling that lasts. New Nivea Men Deep Antiperspirant. Nivea Men. It starts with you. Official sponsor of Real Madrid.
This is NTV.
Well, good evening. You are watching NTV Weekend Edition. Well, it has been a tough week for the frontline health workers as two medical specialists lost their lives today to the coronavirus pandemic, adding to the grim fatalities rate. We have that and much more tonight, but here are some of our top stories.
Tonight, COVID-19 continues to take a grim toll. 17 more succumb and 1,211 more test positive. Also tonight, the frontline defenses are weakening. More doctors succumb to COVID-19. Unease sweeps through the medical ranks as COVID-19 takes a toll on those most needed to combat it. Plus, Parliament prescribes a strong dose for drug traffickers. We break down the stiff fines outlined in the new drug laws.
Someone who is a drug dealer having a stiffer penalty, if you're against that, then you have to explain why you're against that, isn't it?
And also tonight, dancing to the Building Bridges signature tune.
Sisi ndio tumefinywa kabisa. Aswa serikali za ukatusi.
Bulldozing or building consensus?
There's no view of any Kenyan that we can just sweep under the carpet.
This is Weekend Edition with Zainab Ismail.
Well, thank you for joining us. Our sign language interpreter this evening is David Agondoa. Now, Kenya's fight against COVID-19 is getting tougher and tougher. The country has lost 2 more doctors to the disease, and while the rate of death among health workers is certainly speeding up, the rate of action on the government's part to prevent these gallant heroes from falling is slowing down. But calls for the government to get their priorities right are getting louder. Helen Aura begins our broadcast tonight.
Professor Anthony Were, a renowned nephrologist, and Dr. Neera Patel, a renowned dental surgeon, are the latest medical professionals whose lives have been cut short by the lethal coronavirus. Both experts succumbed to the virus this morning. Their deaths raised the number of doctors who have died from the disease in November alone to 12, and the total number of fatalities among healthcare workers in the country now stands at 32. The increasing loss of lives among these essential workers is shaking the medical fraternity, who believe they're not only fighting against the coronavirus, but fighting a losing battle with their own government.
Across the entire country, the isolation and treatment centers are for the general public. There is none that is for the doctors and the frontline workers.
The Kenya Doctors Professional Association and societies are the latest to express disappointment in the government for failing to cushion healthcare workers with medical insurance if they fall sick with COVID-19 in the line of duty. They're pushing for the lives of doctors and healthcare workers to be prioritized by insisting they be provided with personal protective equipment and comprehensive medical cover.
Doctors have really undergone a lot of strain, and then there's been burnout because of a serious shortage. So you can imagine for 8 months, and then bring that on board a delayed salary, an unremitted deduction of your NHIF. And what happens? You get sick, you go, your card has flagged red, you can't get treatment, so you have to chip in out of pocket.
According to the Kenya Medical Association, the calls for protection are falling on deaf ears.
In terms of lobbying, we have spoken to, as Kenya Medical Association, we've spoken to Senate on several occasions. We have sent letters to Ministry of Health. We continually have a COVID response advisory committee which meets every week. So in terms of letting the government know what it needs to do, we have done. But so far, I think it has been more speaking than action.
Over 2,000 healthcare workers have been infected by COVID-19 countrywide. And among them, these are just some of the doctors who have died from the deadly coronavirus. Helen Aura, NTV.
Well, let's now take a look at the country's coronavirus situation, and 1,211 more people have tested positive for the virus in the last 24 hours from a sample size of 9,304. This bringing the country's caseload to 76,404. Well, sadly, 17 patients succumbed to the virus in the last 24 hours, bringing the total number of fatalities to 1,366. But on a positive note, 368 patients have been discharged after recovery, bringing the country's total recoveries to 51,352. While Nairobi still has the highest number of infections at 410, followed by Mombasa at 102, Migori 93 cases, Bungoma 79 and Uasin Gishu 55. Well, away from that, Parliament is considering tougher laws that will see drug traffickers pay fines of up to 50 million shillings in addition to life imprisonment in what could just be the turning point in the war on drugs. Well, the proposals contained in the Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Control Amendment Bill 2020 also targets law enforcement officers who collude with drug traffickers as well as the users of these illegal substances. Our Coast Region reporter Kevin Mutai breaks it down.
The country's transformation into a drug trafficking hub has been picking up. The amount of drugs coming into and through Kenya has been alarming. Parliament now hopes a stronger piece of legislation will give it much needed muscle in the war on drugs. The proposed amendment bill on narcotics, drugs and psychotropic substance control is set for a third reading before the National Assembly's Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security. It proposes stiff penalties for anyone involved in drug trafficking in the country. The amendments seek to introduce a fine of not less than 20 million shillings or life imprisonment for anyone found in possession of drugs between 1 and 5 grams. 51 and 100 grams attract a fine of not less than 30 million shillings or 3 times the market price of the drugs. Any consignment above 100 grams will earn you a fine of not less than 50 million shillings according to the bill.
Now we are coming for the barons by all means. We are going to intercept their communication, we are going to freeze their accounts, we are going to make sure that they are jailed, we are going to make sure that each and every person who will assist the barons will face the law.
The proposed law further proposes a fine of not less than 50 million shillings or a prison term of not less than 20 years for anyone who manufactures or transports the drugs. If the bill says through Parliament, drug users will also be slapped with a fine of not less than 20 million shillings or 10 years in prison. Those found smoking narcotic substances such as bang will also be fined 250,000 shillings.
Afisa yote wa polisi atakayesaidia mtu yoyote ambaye anauza dawa za kulevya, kwanza kabisa faini yake ni shilingi milioni 20 ama jela miaka 5. Afisa polisi. Huyo ni afisa wa polisi peke yake. Barons ni vile tumesema, nikikushika na cocaine ya 6.4 billion kama ile tuliweza kuona kule Malindi, tunafanya 6 times 4 billion times 3.
La msingi ni kuwa watu, ikiwezekana bunge pitishwe, wanyongwe na wanyongwe publicly, watu waone kuwa hawa ndio wanaua umma, hawa ndio wanaleta shida.
Muuzaji wa madawa kulevya ukimwacha kwa bondi ya 10,000, milioni 10, hii ni pesa ameweka katika mfuko wa juu wa chati.
Last year, the first Kenyan, Baktash Akasha, son of Abdallah Akasha, who built one of the biggest drug trafficking operations in East Africa, was sentenced on drug trafficking charges in New York. The Akashas were arrested in Kenya in November 2014. The charges against them included bribing Kenyan officials in an attempt to avoid extradition. There were reports of influential underhands, powerful people, who wanted to prevent the case from coming to trial in a Kenyan court despite overwhelming evidence against the Akashas. And now there are concerns that there are forces out to scuttle this bill.
Someone who is a drug dealer having a stiffer penalty, if you're against that, then you have to explain why you're against that, isn't it? And maybe highlight the person who is going to be against this. And not only that, highlight those people as well who don't come to Parliament.
The current laws have seen some of those running drug empires getting a fine of just 1 million shillings or even less. Kevin Mutai, NTV in Mombasa.
Thanks, Kevin. Now, the story of missing girls in Komarok Estate has brought to the fore a danger that has been lurking in Kenyan homes of predators luring their prey via social media and taking advantage of their targets' young age. Well, tonight, Leila Mohammed looks at how a dark web drew young teens into a world of drugs, alcohol and partying.
Anguish turned into relief for the parents of 3 young girls who resurfaced after going missing from their homes in Komarok Estate for a week.
They've just come. They're in panicky mood, hawajui. But among the therefore, so when that's the one missing.
Via their Twitter page, DCI officers stated that preliminary investigations established that 7 girls were lured out of their homes through a social media account named Kati Gang ENT. The girls were allegedly being invited for a casting call audition via an international phone number.
Since hiyo day walianza kuingia kwa hiyo group, mtoto wangu hana simu. Nilichukua simu zote, hata kompyuta, nikasema hii story za kusoma online juu wanaenda kurepeat, hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Wasome textbooks. Naye mtoto wangu hana simu. Sasa kuna wale umejua mimi nanyang'anya na kuna wale wengine wamewachia watoto masimu. Na sasa being the fact that wanaweza kumuita wako na hao wengine wako kwa hizo link. Anaweza chukua hata simu ya hata watoto wengine hapo nje waongee nao marafiki zao.
According to detectives attached to the DCI's Anti-Human Trafficking and Child Protection Unit and the Crime Research and Intelligence Bureau, the young girls revealed how they were lured from their homes and linked up at party joints in Nairobi. Parents described the last encounters with their daughters before they went missing.
And that same day, nilikuwa nimeambia my daughter mkubwa wangu asikubali watoke nje. Wao wanapiga story wakiwa kwa nyumba yetu iko na compound kubwa, ni vile hizi nyumba zimejengwa, sababu ya zile tabia ziko hapa nje. Kwa sababu hakuwa anataka sister yake ajue anataka kutoroka, alirukia kwa jirani yangu. Alipanda stool, akaruka, akaenda the other side, akatokea kwa gate yao. Na aliruka akidanganya katoto ya my neighbor, anataka kwenda kumsaidia kuosha vyombo. Basi kamshana kakamwambia kuja tu tuosha vyombo.
One of the girls was asked by her father before when a friend had disappeared to pen down some of the activities that she had been engaging in with her friends over time. In her own words, the young girl and her elder sister gave written accounts of how they were lured into consuming alcohol and smoking bang as far back as when they were in class 7. The girl sought support to help her change but fell victim to this latest syndicate. The girls also declined to reveal details of the individual who hosted them while they were away.
We haven't heard about any audition they were to attend. Actually, they just left the way they were at home. The way they usually say, tunaenda kununua ice, tunaendea lollipop.
Officers from the DCI say investigations into the online cartel have begun. Leila Mohammed, NTV.
A tough time for parents and guardians across the country. We better watch out for our children. Now, the country has reported its second sighting of a locust invasion barely months since the Ministry of Agriculture declared Kenya locust-free. The Ministry of Agriculture is now concerned about crop production this season, as most crops are just beginning to sprout, making them vulnerable to the new swarms. Bridget Singana now reports.
Fresh swarms of locusts have been spotted in Taita Taveta, Mandera and Wajir counties, 2 months shy after the first wave was eradicated. The swarms are arriving from central Somalia on board the southerly winds sweeping across the Horn of Africa.
The prediction from our experts and the FAO experts is that by mid-December, if the prevailing winds persist, we will have big swarms. These are small swarms. Of course, since they are mature from the expert, the way they are telling us, they could also have laid the egg somewhere in those vast areas. And therefore, that means in a few weeks, 3 weeks or so, they could also be now the all pass that we may also require to control.
Last year's locust attack coming after a 7-decade break affecting 28 counties and jolting the Ministry of Agriculture's preparedness. This time, the ministry says it is more than ready for the second wave, with aerial surveillance and the National Youth Service already deployed to respond to the insects who now threaten food security this season.
This is the worst time in terms of an invasion. Remember, there has also not been very adequate rains in the pastoral areas where they are coming. So you can imagine if they are not controlled in good time, the little pasture that is there will be destroyed, and therefore there will be a challenge for our livestock.
We really have the experiences. If gaps are there, this is what the plan is really bringing in order to address them. So with the community, with what is happening on the ground, we have operational, of course, already.
Poor regional cooperation is currently stifling efforts to deal with the swarms. Fighting in Somalia and Ethiopia, where the current swarms are coming from, could pose huge challenges for Kenya. An estimated 3.2 billion shillings has been raised to fumigate the swarms and their eggs in the frontline counties. Bridget Ngana, NTV.
Well, as we brace for the second Locust invasion, Kenya faces an arduous task of returning to a path of sustained and inclusive growth. Well, that's according to the latest assessment of the country's state by the International Monetary Fund, which was done through a virtual mission. Alex Mwangi assesses the difficult position that the government now finds itself in financially.
A staff team from the International Monetary Fund, led by Mary Goodman, conducted a virtual mission to Kenya from October 27, 2020 to November 17th. The aim was to undertake negotiations on a 3.5-year extended credit facility arrangement. The mission's key findings are that the economy has been picking up from a trough in April and May, but the normally resilient services sector continues to face challenges, and the outlook remains uncertain due to COVID-19. According to the IMF, Kenya's development goals have nonetheless suffered a significant setback, and the country faces an arduous task of returning to a path of sustained and inclusive growth. The shock has also crystallized debt-related vulnerabilities and exposed weaknesses in some state-owned enterprises. The ill health of a number of state-owned enterprises due to multiple factors, including mismanagement, have prompted the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury and Planning to issue this warning.
Gone are the days when now we'll be allowing state agencies, state enterprises, to be coming here for a begging bowl or bailout.
The IMF says there is broad agreement on the policy objectives that would underpin a fund-supported program. The remaining issues to firm up include the scope of state-owned enterprises' weaknesses and plans to revise the budget for the current financial year to address these and other pressure points, as well as some elements of the medium-term strategy. Previously called to the idea of seeking formal financial assistance from the Bretton Woods institutions owing to the conditionalities attached, the government has in recent days warmed up to the funding partners. This, in turn, is leading to an increased level of urgency from Treasury to have reforms realized in state-owned enterprises.
These reforms are at a very advanced stage, and we are going to hold the management of this, the governance aspect of these institutions, personally accountable for any wastage, for any abuse of, of their responsibility.
Among other things, Kenya is likely to revise its budget for the current financial year in order to secure funding from the multilateral lenders. It is also keen to introduce other measures in order to expand the amount of tax collected.
We're introducing a tax, a digital service tax of 1.5%. Then it means, and that is from January, anyone who's online has to either appoint a tax representative and at the same time account for the VAT sales that they have. So looking at that and then questioning ourselves, are we really, as Africa, or even Kenya itself, have we matched the other world, the other part of the world, the other countries? Are we at the same path?
Technical work will continue in the period ahead, with a view to reaching an agreement on a program that could be presented to the Funds Board early next year. Alex Mwangi, NTV.
Well, thanks, Alex. Now, the Public Service Commission has given notice to public servants that beginning January 2021, it shall not be extending the contracts of those who have attained the mandatory retirement age of 60 years and 65 years for persons living with disabilities, and with a freeze on public service employment owing to a cash crisis. While experts see this as one other way of cutting down the public workforce and stem a runaway wage bill that has been burning holes in the taxpayers' pockets. In a statement signed by the PSC chairman Stephen Kirogo, the decision by government to review the retirement age from 55 to 60 in 2009 was meant to cushion the public service from loss of employees with crucial skills while they were still productive. Over time, those who had attained the retirement age of 60 have been getting extensions for various reasons, an action that the PSC now says will stop come 2021. Well, it's time to take a breather now, but before we do that, take a look at these beautiful expressions of peace in difficult times. New art installation in Tokyo and Singapore lets people blow dandelion fluff across to each other at a time when the coronavirus has closed international borders. The installation is part of an art project. The project, titled Breath, is a collective monument of mankind's solidarity and unity with one another. Tonight, this is our moment of calm.
Oya ni aje, mimi Jonte Fresh. Mimi ndio nimetambulika hii Gikomba yote sekta ya manguo. Jumio transform nguo ordinary za mtush zenye ziuka mna hii harufu ya bail into the freshest Iggy Kosi yote. Siri ni hii Real mpya ya pink. Na kushow mtush zinang'ara kung'ara kushinda kamera. So clean, so fresh. Ma customer wanaisana na hii story. Ninatumia aerial touch of down mpya tu.
When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys and love the little things even more. Like serving up your best, eating together, and sharing more. Now, we'll take nothing for granted and always remember to taste the simple joys. Enjoy the magic of Christmas with Coca-Cola.
Songa songa na Pampers Pants, chakula ni tam tam, kila bite ni yum yum, kula ni starehe na Pampers Pants. Songa na Pampers Pants, no leaks you know, it's just the perfect fit. Mealtime is happy with Pampers Pants.
It's always a full house this season when the family comes together.
To reconnect.
One thing we do, we watch GoTV. We love it.
It's all about making the holiday special.
For the kids.
That means keeping the GoTV subscription active because they love it.
GoTV is everyone's favorite place this festive season.
Usimiss out, get GoTV decoder kwa shilingi 1999.
GoTV. Love it.
What is a super house? This week, some of the most impressive houses in Kenya, with some of the leading architects taking us through this.
But our exposure to architecture from around the world has very much informed our designs.
A review of a super house.
Every day creates something new, something modern for people to enjoy, and you'll have an artistic piece.
And materials to use for a super house.
We are looking at Italian range of finishes and Indian range of finishes.
Catch the show this Sunday at 5:30 p.m. only on NTV.
Get your value-added plots today by cash or through our installment plan. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Optiven Limited, the pay-setters in real estate.
Kira! Kira? Where are you?
Malaria!
That's why you need the superior protection of Mortein 360-degree reach. Only this has 11 fans which enable it to reach the farthest corners. Mortein, total indoor protection.
When the schools shut, the textile sector came to a halt. We have a workforce of over 300 people that we need to support, and the orders were just cancelled overnight. If we had not gone into PPEs right now, we wouldn't be having this opportunity to tell the story of how Equity helped the local sector by procuring locally. Basically, 100% of PPEs were being imported. I don't think a single local textile industry had thought of manufacturing PPEs. So with Equity coming in, we were able to retrain and repurpose a lot of our labor force. And on top of that, we hired an extra 50 to 100 people when the orders got a bit higher. What the local manufacturers
achieved. It shows the Kenyan spirit. We were there to protect our front line, which was helping fight this pandemic. And not only did we fight, we made it a product that meets international levels. There's a lot more that we can do locally. Let's explore and let's see what we can do.
Asante sana. Sasa, ni nini kingine ambacho unaweza kumfanyia msichana wetu?
Kila kitu. Hata kufua nguo na aerial mpya. Unaniamini sasa?
Aerial huondoa madoa sugu kwa mwosho mmoja. Ijaribu leo uamini.
Well, thank you for staying with us. You're watching NTV Weekend Edition. Well, a section of the clergy proposed that the referendum to change the constitution be held alongside the 2022 general election to save the country billions it doesn't have. Well, this comes on the back of growing calls for creating harmony on the unity drive, even as the pro-BBI leaders insist that change is inevitable.
A few days after the aborted launch of the BBI signature collection drive, a section of pro-BBI leaders were in Kiambu County this weekend for the launch of an initiative dubbed BBI Express to drum up support for the document at the grassroots.
We are going to repeal the act that formed AFA so that our farmers, they go back to their agencies and their specific boards. Ndio to deal na issues za majani chai, majani na kahawa, pareto ndani ya boards ambazo zimetengenezwa na wakulima.
But there are growing calls to include amendments and accommodate divergent views before the document is subjected to a referendum.
If even today we are discussing changing the Constitution of 2010, which is a superior document, how can you tell us then we cannot even amend her report? Then inamaanisha we are not serious as Kenyans.
Let us polish up this document so that we carry all Kenyans along. If we rush it, it will only be with the political class and wananchi will be left behind.
There's no view of any Kenyan that we can just sweep under the carpet. And to the extent that we have had very respected organs and organizations such as the Catholic Church speaking loudly and saying, hey man, where we are going, we are misstepping. We must listen to them.
The last-minute postponement of signature collection comes on the back of a meeting between the president and his deputy in what has been seen as a step towards easing the hardline positions.
Tulistop kuanzisha kile kusanya ma signatures kwa sababu hiyo vitabu ilikuwa ile marekebisho ndogo ndogo ambayo imewekwa ndani. Hivi karibuni kwa wiki mbili mtaona kama tunaanza kuzundua hiyo ma signatures iendelee mbele.
On their part, a section of Pentecostal church bishops in Kirinyaga County want the BBI-driven referendum and the general election held concurrently in 2022.
Kama ni 22 tuweke sanduku la referendum pale, tuchague viongozi na sanduku la 7 liwe la referendum tukichagua viongozi. Sababu Kenya haina pesa.
Currently, both DP Ruto and ODM leader Raila Odinga are out of the country on personal capacities. Vincent Odur, NTV.
Well, November is marked globally as the Epilepsy Awareness Month, and as Kenya joins in the awareness effort, focus is shifting to Kilifi County, which is increasingly reporting high cases of the disease. A recent study by the Kemri Wellcome Trust reveals that at least 2% of the population in Kilifi County is living with epilepsy, a neurological disorder that causes abnormalities in the brain. Kevin Mutaina reports on the Kemri study, which is informing intervention measures in that county.
At the epilepsy clinic in Kilifi County, we encountered tens of patients, both adults and children, seeking treatment. The clinic is busy and sees at least 40 patients per day.
We found that about 2% of the people in Kilifi will have a form of epilepsy.
Epilepsy may occur as a result of a genetic disorder or an acquired brain injury.
Nilikuwa Mombasa, nilipatana hawa kora wanaitwa wakali kwanza. Wakanivamia, wakanikatakata mapanga. Hata ile kitu nishtukia tu, niko hospitali Pandia.
Before the attack, Rongoma, who is a father of 10, used to be a driver at a government institution, but was forced to quit the job over his condition.
Sijui ni kitu gani chenye kilimfanya mpaka akawa sasa anaenda kombo.
Ukaangalia pa mwisho yake, wakaja wakaona wale mali nilikatwa. Ingia ndani ambapo kuna kraka sasa, ambao sasa damu ilikuwa inaingia ndani ambao lisafisha, lakini sasa ile kraka ndio damu ikafanya kuna kraka sasa ya damu ST tembea vizuri. Sasa ikawa mara nyingine ndio inaanguka.
Scientists at the Camry Wellcome Trust also revealed that children with malaria or birth-associated injuries are likely to develop epilepsy or any form of mental illness, such as learning retardation, cerebral palsy, deafness, or loss of vision. According to researchers, other causes of the disease may include uncooked pork, parasitic infections, bacterial infections, or febrile convulsions in children.
Kucheza kwa jua ndo mwili unapanda moto na kupanda moto ndo vinamwangusha.
Some of them come in with delayed neurodevelopmental milestones. For instance, they come in, maybe a baby is at, let's say, 6 months, they tell you they've not been able to support their neck, or maybe maybe parents observe some abnormal movements of maybe the limbs, or even maybe the head, they do like head nodding.
According to the study, more than 1 million people in Kenya have epilepsy, and in Kilifi County alone, over 70% of the affected people fail to seek medical attention due to traditional beliefs and misconceptions associated with the disease, such as witchcraft, poverty, illiteracy, social stigma, among others. The study also shows that death occurs in 33 out of every 1,000 people with epilepsy each year.
When we did some community-based studies and we compared those people with epilepsy versus those without epilepsy, we actually realized that there were 6 times more likely to die than those people without epilepsy.
Most of the people who come to this clinic have to undergo an electroencephalogram examination, which detects abnormalities in the brain using small electrodes attached to the scalp, and the electoral cells communicate via electrical impulses.
We are mostly motivated by the fact that we need to generate numbers and evidence that can be used to inform policy both locally and internationally. And we are also setting up a group of participants, both children and adults, that we can follow up towards the future and be able to understand the course and trajectory of the disease, including the risk of dying.
It is estimated that 70 million people across the world suffer from epilepsy, 80% from developed countries. Kevin Mutai, NTV, in Kilifi County.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Now, look, we live in a big world, but can you imagine what a little world would look like? From a rural grocery shop to something as big as a fictional battlefield and robot warrior bases, Taiwanese artisans are meticulously handcrafting miniature worlds that fuse reality and fantasy. The handful of artists have painstakingly built a niche in recent years and gained international recognition for these mini worlds. Well, stay with us as we take a break on NTV Weekend Edition.
The aerial challenge is moving across Kenya, improving Kenyans' lives by saving them money, offering brilliant stain removal in one wash.
Wino ni mojawapo wa madoa sugu ambayo hayatoki kwa nguo, sio?
Let us see which detergent removes stubborn stains.
Na tofauti kwa hizi vitambaa zangu mbili. Kitambaa gani imeokoa pesa kina mama?
Napenda hilo kwa sababu mwosho wake ni mmoja tu. Hata ndio hii nimenunua mara yangu ya kwanza.
Watch out for the aerial challenge coming to a town near you.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, Tulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night.
Athi Waterworks Development Agency has moved. The new space is bigger and better. We have renewed our commitment to accelerate access to clean water and improved sanitation. Visit us at Athi Water Plaza on Muthaiga North Road off Kiambu Road. Athi Waterworks Development Agency, accelerating access to water and sanitation.
Every day, you hear news reports about the violence that children face.
We face sexual violence that tears our lives apart. We are beaten in our homes where we're supposed to be safe and even in school. We are insulted and berated.
If you see me being sexually abused, stop it.
If you see me being beaten, stop it.
If you see me being hit, stop it.
If you see me being bullied, stop it. The violence against us will not end until you stop it. And the stories will remain the same until you change them.
Any form of violence against children is wrong. Report cases of abuse to a trusted adult, children's officers, the police, or call the Child Helpline 116. Spot it and stop it.
So vile nasema, wacha nikubatie statistics. Niko na gamia 1,500. Tunakuwa drapo gamia na kuwa 6,000. 2,000 natengeneza leather, natengeneza viatu, wallet, kibeti, nauza hapa, na batia wewe 50%. Wacha niweke credit nikupigie.
Namna gani wewe? Hii mambo ya kuishiwa na credit kila saa? Come on. Nunua hiyo simu ya Vodafone. Calling fiber to fiber is 0 shillings per minute. And it is not expensive. Only 2,999 Kenya shillings.
Alo hali wa. Hata fadhali hiyo credit ikae ninunue simu basi.
Faibika leo na Vodafone for only 2,999 Kenya shillings. It will always be free to call fiber to fiber.
Rock Industries brings you Rock Plastic with a variety of kitchenware, ranging from kitchen dishes, cups, plates, clothesline pegs, spoons, and even rulers for learners. All this coming in your preferred size, beautiful colors and texture, and our products are one shop away from where you are across the country. All Rock Industries Limited products are 100% virgin raw material that is cost-friendly. For these and more products, contact our offices on 0722 575619 or 0736028181. You can also visit our offices in Industrial Area, Ndume Road, off Longalonga Road, Nairobi.
All right, thank you for staying with us. Now, for a long time, the Maasai community has passed on their cherished traditions from one generation to the next. But times are changing, and with many embracing education and new ways of life, some elders fear that their culture may be lost in time. Well, NTV's Naoma Sampao attended the graduation of Morans to adulthood and brings us the story of how the community is battling to keep its traditions and heritage alive.
Our arrival here at Isilali village in Kajiado County was greeted with curious glances, then a warm welcome into the home of Irkileko age group.
The sun's rays kiss the horizon, ushering in a brand new day, signaling to the wives of the Irkileku age that it's time to wake up and get the day's activities going. In these parts of the country, the first order of business is tending to their cows. The milk is stored in calabashes from which they will serve their husbands from as a sign of respect and love. Pleased by what they see, the men make movements around their cattle, They say that this is the most satisfying thing to do. The men identify the goats and sheep to be slaughtered on that day and make their way to Orpul to slaughter. Maasai men have 3 main rites of passage before they can become elders. Nkepata, Eunoto, and Olngesher are 3 interrelated male rites of passage of the Maasai community. Nkepata is the induction of boys leading to initiation, Eunoto is the shaving of the morans paving the way to adulthood, and Olngesher is the meat-eating ceremony that marks the end of moranism and the beginning of eldership, which is what is taking place right now. Today's event marks the culmination of an intense 20 years of preparation. The first 10 years from 2000 to 2010 saw the then young boys undergo training to attain moraniship status. During this time, they were not allowed to eat food cooked at home or seen by a circumcised woman. The next 10 from 2010 to 2020 saw the morans start performing duties including the protection of the community. They were also allowed to start their families. Today, during this event, they finally get to join the highest order in the society, being elders.
Tuko katika manyata letu la mwisho ambayo ni inaturuhusu sisi kuwa wazee. Ishara ya kwamba ule mtu ambaye anahitaji kwenda kukunywa pombe, mtu ambaye anataka kukula tumbako, tutakuwa na kwa jina nzima inaitwa manyata olorikan. Ishara ya kwamba mtu atakuwa mzee, tutakuwa na kitu inaitwa orkidong ambayo mtu ataweka tumbako lake, vitu mingi kama hizo.
Respect and responsibility, safeguarding of the lineage, transfer of powers from one age set to the next, and the transmission of indigenous knowledge such as in relation to livestock rearing, conflict management, legends, traditions and life skills are some of the core values embedded in those rites of passage. Maasai are one of the very few tribes who have retained most of their traditions, lifestyle and law. They're not, however, an exemption with a radical fading of cultures as some of their cultural practices have been edged out.
Kitambo ilikuwa 10 years, wengine walikuwa 5 years, wengine walikuwa naenda 5 months, wengine walikuwa kama sisi sahi tulikuwa tunaenda 3 months. Inaenda tu ikididimia. So sijui mali itakuja kuishia.
They also worry that the next generation might not adhere to their cultural practices.
Unaweza taka mtoto wako afundishwe hizi vitu na pia wao wafundishe wenye wanakuja vitu kama hizo.
Kulingana na mimi ningetaka nifundishe, lakini kulingana na maisha vile iko, hata sisi wenyewe ambaye mahali tumefika kuna vitu zingine tunajaribu kuacha. Lakini hata sisi kwa ajili ya masomo tunafanya hizi vitu tufupishe ili watu waende kupata masomo.
Zile mila zingine mbaya kama ukeketaji sisi tuliziacha na sisi tunafundisha Wamasai wetu ama mila yetu hiyo ukeketaji ishe, lakini mila ingine mzuri tunaendelesha bado.
This particular culture of Orngesher among this community is special. Every age group has a time to attend. Wives of the graduating men are tasked with the responsibility of building their houses and doing normal house chores. The houses must be in a circle and must always end with not just any other odd number but 9. The construction must also be far from residential places to avoid distraction. The leaders of that particular group, whom they call Olotuno, is chosen. He must be without blemish. Family and relatives visit the men in their new home and bring them gifts. These transition times are held in high regard. The memory is everlasting.
Hii manyata inatufanya tuwe pamoja kwa ajili ya chakula, nyama, na ndio unaona sasa vile tunachinja, tunakuja kuwa pamoja, tunakuja kula chakula ili tuimalizie ile ambayo tulikuwa tunakuja hapa kwa sababu tunamalizia rika.
Sasa tuko wengi kwa maboma, tuko mbalimbali, sasa tunakaa vizuri, tunakula wote pamoja. Wazee wako tu mchana, lakini sometimes wako wanaenda kutafutia watu chakula. Kwa hivyo hapa kuna kila kitu, tunasherehekea kila kitu iko.
Having grown up in such a setting, this is probably the best way to welcome me to your home. Milk is a staple food among us, and we consume milk and its products any time of the day. Nayoma Sampao, NTV.
Well, thanks, Nayoma. You did promise to bring me some of the milk, but you didn't. I'm still waiting. And we're taking another breather here on the broadcast. But before that, we take you underwater for a few moments. We'll have a look at this footage as Palestinian underwater photographer Mohammed Assad documents life underwater off the coast of Khan Yunis in the southern Gaza Strip, where spear fishermen challenge Israel's maritime restrictions and the ban on bringing in diving gear.
Go ahead is believing to make each day a brighter day. It is showing everyone that we can all be heroes. Going ahead is our courage to do something new. It's those small acts that go a long way. It means growing our own. It is making the most of what we have. It is supporting each other where we can. To go ahead. Now, that is the Kenyan spirit.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile? All that in one toothpaste? Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums. Ah, Colgate Herbal. Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Ah, Helen Paul.
Hello, madam. Would you like to join us on this mission?
Yes, but how?
Just one question for you. How do you keep your toilet clean?
I use regular detergent and bleach for washing and removing yellow stains. I've been using it for years.
Oh, madam, the regular detergents and bleach are used for washing clothes. To disinfect your toilet properly, you need Harpic 10X. It is specially made for germs and stains removal. Harpic's thick formula settles on stains and gives 10 times better cleaning compared to regular detergents and bleach.
Wow, now I'm convinced, Helen Paul.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that she's part of the mission, the next house is yours.
Every time Gran arrives, she always has a small reward for her.
I made this for you today.
Ah, thank you, my baby. It's so beautiful.
Wow!
She's happy, and I trust it because it's made with milk and other carefully controlled ingredients, without any colorings or preservatives. Care has been taken to make it. I love to see her happy because it meets her taste and fantasy. Kinder Joy, my trust, their joy.
From far with you. I even gifted you a magnificent house. Rosa, it's the thought that counts. Please help me.
When it comes to fever, you need to be both. Panadol Baby and Infant starts to work on fever in 15 minutes and is gentle on the tummy. Panadol Baby and Infant, tough on fever, gentle on your child.
With a Stay Soft refill, saving money is as easy as snip, pour, mix with water, and shake. Stay Soft refill. It's 2 liters of Stay Soft for up to 30% less.
Light it up, dynamite. Shining through the city with a little fucking soul. Light it up like dynamite. This is shining through the city with a little fucking soul. Light it up like dynamite.
Cocoa, Kenya's highest saving, longest lasting, and biggest Jiko, cooks fast using half the charcoal compared to other Jikos, so you use less fuel and receive extra savings. Enjoy our great discounts and save an extra 500 Kenya shillings when you buy Jiko Cocoa at your nearest shopping outlet.
Did you know at Ruiru Mabati Factory you can open an account and lipa pole pole at your convenience? Did you know at Ruiru Mabati Factory you can get customized sizes according to your roof plan to avoid wastage? Did you know Ruiru Mabati Factory offers free delivery countrywide within 72 hours?
To order, call us now on 0111 050 700. Ruiru Mabati Factory, mali safi kwa bei poa.
What is a super house? This week, some of the most impressive houses in Kenya, with some of the leading architects taking us through this.
That our exposure to architecture from around the world has very much informed our designs.
A review of a super house.
Every day creates something new, something modern for people to enjoy, and you'll have an artistic piece.
And materials to use for a super house.
We are looking at Italian range of finishes and Indian range of finishes.
Catch the show this Sunday at 5:30 p.m. only on NTV.
Get your value-added plots today by cash or through our installment plan. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Optiven Limited, the pacesetters in real estate.
Well, thank you for staying with us. Now, the Water Resources Authority has cautioned people living along River Kambu in Makueni County against using its water after a train spilled 750,000 litres of palm oil in the region. Well, the train was involved in an accident as it attempted to climb a gentle hill. The warning has brought confusion among residents living around the river who highly depend on the river for water for domestic use. It is not yet clear how long it will take for authorities to clear up the mess, but residents have urged the county leadership to hasten the cleanup as the area already grapples with water shortages. They've also been asked not to consume the raw oil as it could be harmful to their health. The oil is also hazardous to marine life. All right, and on that note, sports news is up next, but as we take a break, take a look at this. This is how some people are surviving the pandemic. When the coronavirus pandemic left Bethlehem without its hordes of visitors, Raid Banura lost his job as a tour guide, so he opened a sandwich shop. Certainly not a revolutionary plan, but when it came to marketing, Banura has grabbed attention offering a Corona sandwich. We'll be back in a moment.
Leo Safaricom wanasherehekea miaka 20 na wewe. Piga star 444 star 20 asi. Tumia shilingi 20 pekee utunukiwe 20 minutes na 20 MB.
Cocoa, Kenya's highest saving, longest lasting, and biggest Jiko, cooks fast using half the charcoal compared to other Jikos, so you use less fuel and receive extra savings. Enjoy our great discounts and save an extra 500 Kenya shillings when you buy Jiko Cocoa at your nearest shopping outlet.
Pata
Pata kila kitu upendacho kwa M-Pesa kupitia star 334 hash.
I was approached by Equity Bank to come on board and see what we could do to ensure the healthcare worker was protected. We made things that I myself would comfortably wear to look after patients that have COVID. It's something that really Kenyans should be proud about.
Even if you do not use credit as often, it is good to have the ability to do so in the event of an emergency, as well as help establish a good credit rating and a subsequent possibility of obtaining additional credit. Visit www.stimasacco.com/credit products/ for more information.
We are a reflection of you. We are a stable, financially sound institution providing tailor-made services to add value to your life, time, and money. We are guided by your aspirations. We are Stima Sacco, a true reflection of you.
Chrissy Bila worries. Chrissy na Naivas is now on with the biggest and tastiest offers this festive season. Every day, 350 winners Kula shopping voucher worth 2,000 shillings. All you need to do is simply present your Naivas card when you shop for your chance to be one of the winners. Naivas saves you money.
Benefits of African oolong tea. Good for slimming without side effects. It should be used with hot water only, no sugar or milk. It helps to reduce the rate of aging. It cuts back the infectivity of bacteria and makes weight loss easier.
African oolong tea is a proudly Kenyan tea brought to you by Akman Limited. It's available in all leading supermarkets, chemists, gift shops, and Jumia online. To place an order or get in touch with us, contact us on the listed address on your screen.
What is a super house? This week, some of the most impressive houses in Kenya, with some of the leading architects taking us through this.
But our exposure to architecture from around the world has very much informed our designs.
A review of a super house.
Every day creates something new, something modern for people to enjoy, and you'll have an artistic piece.
And materials to use for a super house.
We are looking at Italian range of finishes and Indian range of finishes.
Catch the show this Sunday at 5:30 p.m. only on NTV.
Get your value-added plot today by cash or through our installment plan. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Optiven Limited, the pay-saters in real estate.
That's right. Welcome to LNTV Sport. I'm Watson Karuma. Now, the Kenya basketball national team head coach Cliff Owuor believes that Morans will register a positive result at the FIBA AfroBasket qualifiers, which tips off next week in Kigali, Rwanda. As Yoshua Makori reports, the Morans, who are looking to qualify for the FIBA AfroBasket for the first time in 27 years, received a 3 million shilling sponsorship for the next 4 years from Rentco Africa before their departure for Kigali tomorrow.
Kenya Morans head coach Cliff Owuor has named his final 12-man squad ready for the AfroBasket qualifiers in Kigali, Rwanda from 25th to 29th this month.
Timu iko poa, wako kwa shape mzuri sana na tunatarajia tuweze kupambana na tushinde tutakapocheza Kigali.
Among the professional players in the squad is Taylor Okari and Desmond Owili.
Mazoezi imekuwa mzuri sana. Tumeanza mazoezi I think in October, and guys have been training well and hard. I just came in like 2 days ago, so I think we're prepared for the tournament. The past 2 years Kenya has done well, and we are ready for the tournament, and I think we have the quality to qualify. We have good players who are playing away, and they've decided to come back and help the country. So we're in a good position to qualify Afro Basketball in 2021.
Preston Bungei is playing for Morans for the first time.
Very good. Mchezaji mzuri sana. Analeta speed, energy kwa hii team. Alafu ni kijana mpole, anasikiza sana.
Eric Mtoro will captain the team after captain Griffin Ligare was left out due to work commitments.
Tuko gangari, morali iko juu sana.
Kenya is in Group B with Senegal, Mozambique and Angola.
Lengo letu bado ni ile tuweze kufuzu. Timu 3 ndio zitafuzu katika hiyo pool, na tunaamini ya kwamba sisi tutakuwa moja ya timu ambazo zitafuzu.
Ahead of their departure, the Morans received a 3 million shilling sponsorship from Rentco Africa.
We really take this game with a passion, starting from our CEO, our deputy CEO, our colleagues, male and female. They really love basketball as a game.
For a start, we have started with the men's basketball team, but we are looking forward for the ladies, which have also been informed by the board that it's coming soon.
Yoshua Makori, NTV Sport.
1, 2, 3.
Now, the World Under-20 Championships pre-trials concluded today at the Nyayo National Stadium, where Athletics Kenya selected a team which will join camp ahead of the main trials next year. Amos Herem won the 3,000 meters steeplechase race in 8 minutes and 44.4 seconds. Emmanuel Kiprop came in second as Kiplangat Rotich finished third. Heiron Kibet won the second final in 8 minutes and 43.7 seconds. James Mwanza was second, while Renard Kimgetich was third. In the 800 meters, Noah Kibet won the first men's final, with Robert Kipyegon victorious in the second final, and in the third, Stephen Masindet won. In the women's 800 meters race, Nelly Chepchirchir emerged the winner. The World Athletics Under-20 Championships will be held next year at the Kasarani Stadium.
Tunataka minimum of 60, maximum of 80. Ile tuweke camp, tuangalie kwamba wataendelea namna gani, tutasaidia vile. Na tena tumeongea na ongozi wa Ministry of Sports, na wako na sisi, wanataka kusaidia sisi kwa njia yote inawezekana.
The Rising Stars mission at the Sekafa Under-20 Championships in Arusha, Tanzania is simple. Qualify for the Africa Cup of Nations. The team is currently in Arusha, Tanzania, ahead of the tournament's kickoff tomorrow. The Rising Stars understand their mission and have pledged to put their best foot forward. The team's representatives outlined their intentions last night during a farewell dinner hosted by the Football Kenya Federation President Nick Mwendwa. Mwendwa urged the players to qualify for the Continental Finals, which will be hosted in Mauritania next year. The Rising Stars opened their campaign on Monday against Ethiopia before taking on Sudan on Friday.
All right, thanks Watson Karuma there with the sporting action. And that brings us to the end of our bulletin this hour. Many thanks for keeping us company. Of course, we'll be taking a look at other stories tomorrow. You want to stay with us and, of course, enjoy the rest of your viewing. My name is Zainab Ismail. Our sign language interpreter this evening was David Agondo. Have yourself a lovely night.
This is NTV.
For an exclusive fragrance experience, try Nivea Men Deep Impact Body Lotion with a long-lasting woody fragrance, deep moisture, and a fresh skin feel. Make an impact with Nivea Men Deep Impact. Nivea Men, it starts with you.
Benefits of African Oolong tea. It's an antivirus treatment of the future. It can be used as herbal medicine, reduces the risk of cardiovascular diseases and cancer. It should be used with hot water only.
African Oolong Tea is a proudly Kenyan tea brought to you by Akman Limited. It's available in all leading supermarkets, chemists, gift shops, and Jumia online. To place an order or get in touch with us, contact us on the listed address on your screen.
What is a super house? This week, some of the most impressive houses in Kenya, with some of the leading architects taking us through this.
That our exposure to architecture from around the world has very much informed our designs.
A review of a super house.
Every day create something new, something modern for people to enjoy, and you'll have an artistic piece.
And materials to use for a super house.
We are looking at Italian range of finishes and Indian range of finishes.
Catch the show this Sunday at 5:30 p.m. only on NTV.
Get your value-added plot today by cash or through our installment plan. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Optiven Limited, the pacesetters in real estate. NTV, turning on your world. The following program has been rated PG. It may contain scenes unsuitable for children under the age of 10.
Jump Down in association with Pilsner.
Let's recall some great